in these team fights, some not so much, but sometimes you just outplay your opponents, and sometimes we're seeing it, and I'm very excited that this is where we end the night on.
Well, that's it. Well, Quick Match Warriors normally passive safe play, I should say, win them on Battlefield of Eternity, or are we going to see the more aggressive stylings of Nekomimi take it out? We're doing the drafting now on Battlefield of Eternity. If you've just tuned in, we're on our last game for the evening. Both teams have won a map apiece, and they're looking to secure a victory here tonight.
All right, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Maiev ban from either side, because I don't think Kieran Warriors want to deal with that again. It was very strong. It dismantled a lot of what they wanted to do, especially in that late game. It just tore apart that cohesion that we've seen so often from the Kieran Warriors, and I'm not sure they will be wanting to leave that through unless they want to pick it for themselves.
Yeah, they do have the right of first pick, so they have an opportunity to get it themselves. But yeah, Blaze has always been a bit of a ban favorite of them, and Blaze is looking like it's locked down. But I mean, would you be thinking like, they're going to risk giving Maiev unless they take it?
Yeah, well, it looks like this is going to be the Blaze ban coming out from Kieran Warriors, and now we have to see if Nekomimi are willing to give that up. If they feel as though the Maiev is strong enough to be a first pick themselves, they don't want to give it over, and so that is just going to get taken away. They know the power. They just used it and did very well with it. So they're just like, nah, we don't want to deal with that. We don't want to even entertain the thought that it could go up against us, so just grab it immediately. But that does leave up the Greymane. We saw this in the first match coming out from the Kieran Warriors, and it was very effective for them.
And it's also Battlefield of Eternity as well, GL. So Greymane is just a great pickup over on the other side. I think, Battlefield ETC, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them high prioritized as well.
Furion has also been a high priority. Wouldn't be surprised to see that. There's quite a few picks that are frequently populating in the higher ends of the draft, and the ETC is probably going to be it's going to be a safe bet for this high up in the draft, especially for Nekomimi, who had picked it consistently.
It's just a favorite. It's another hero that is high performing at the moment. It gels so well in a lot of competitions, and because it's got displacement, you can use it in so many different ways. Again, I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. ETC is definitely an X Factor hero in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, he has so much playmaking potential. We saw a lot of mosh pits get interrupted, but the rest of his kit is still very good. But it's actually going to be the Arthas that they prioritize, and also the Hanzo. So wanting to have a lot of racing damage when it comes to the Immortal, and also Hanzo can just do a lot of damage to heroes himself, so wanting to have that tool in their arsenal. Strong picks, but as we've been saying, a little bit surprising that it's not going to be the ETC prioritized for Nekomimi.
Yeah, and that just gives them the opportunity for Quick Match. I guess Quick Match has been picking Tyrael so much in their compositions, and because of the early lock-in with Greymane, Nekomimi are kind of like, look, we don't think you're going to be taking ETC. We've been taking each time, but your comp right now, as little heroes as you picked, it's kind of almost choreographed that, plus their general play style. The Arthas is a great counter to Greymane as well, so maybe Quick Match we're going to mix it up a bit. Well, maybe we'll take ETC this time.
It would be interesting to see if Kieran Warriors go for the ETC and the Tyrael. With the way Tyrael's working now with his shields, he can even be popped into that solo lane. He can do quite well, just because the amount of shield he gives to allied minions, it's enough to mitigate a lot of the damage that a lot of the other solo laners can do. Yeah,
it's like, how good is Tyrael's wave clear? It's like, well, do a little bit, but what he really does is he just keeps his own minions alive. It's a different way of coming at the problem.
Yeah, it's like a wave clear, but on the other side, it's wave clear by the way of not dying.
Protect. Yeah. A wave protect.
It's an interesting way to attack this problem of wave clear, but it does work out a little bit. But that's not going to be the pick just yet, if we do even see it at all. And it's actually going to be the Malfurion, so it does come rather early in this draft before it has a chance to get banned away. And the Malthael, he has been so powerful so far in this series. Sure, he didn't necessarily get the win in that previous game, but it requires so much attention to be paid to that lane. That
You could say
it's just
you
easier
could-
to just not have it there.
You could say that Mouthfield should have had the win in the last series. Is a statement you could say. You could say. I'm not saying you will say, but this is a statement you could say. Banning it out. It does mean that they are obviously looking to send maybe Arthas into the top lane, banning out Mouthfield because they had the first round of picks.
That is an option that they can go with, because unless you want to run that Arthas as the main tank, which you want other tools to be able to help with the initiation, because Arthas, although he has a lot of tools at his disposal, he's rather slow, he's rather cumbersome, and he has a little bit of difficulty getting into fights, which is why he tends to be quite good at the off lane, in the solo lane, but not so much as the main tank. So quite likely that we see him in the solo lane, and it makes the Malthael ban much more understandable.
Puts it into a bit of context.
Yeah.
But again, who are they going to go into now? So Hanzo been picked up. So we look at the composition there. ETC Greymane can dive onto can get onto the Hanzo, I should say. What are their options there? Do we pick up an Uther to sort of protect the Hanzo? Do we look at a different opportunity? You know, Li Ming's banned out. I thought that was sort of an interesting one. Like she has her power on this map, but you know, does that mean that the other team's looking to maybe go a Nubarak and as a secondary tank and look to cocoon a target, remove Li Ming, you remove a lot of damage, but you also remove a pretty good, you know, a solid way to remove cocoon status as well.
And another something I was just thinking about, we saw it earlier today, maybe picking up the Tracer for the side of Kieran Warriors. It does pair well with the Malfurion, and we saw it very much pressure a very squishy backline, which we have right now with the Hanzo and the Vala. So that is a potential that they could go with, have the Greymane and the Tracer as their main DPS. They can race down a lot quite efficiently on those Immortals, but it would fall prey a little bit to that Arthas, who doesn't really care all that much about the Tracer. It's kind of mosquito bites over and over, but it's an option that they can go with.
Well, looking at mages here, you know, they could pick up the cooldown for that nice big damage when they do come in, and then pick up a secondary warrior to act as their sort of, again, like bruiser front line. Or maybe they could go 3 damage here. Let's go Genji and Gul'dan. Or Leoric and Tychus.
Yeah, they've been really liking that Tychus. It's been working out quite well for them. It brings a little bit of extra crowd control and also does a very good job at bursting down that front line. And it allows them to play those very solid back to front styles of team fights that I've been doing so well at.
I guess this was a situation where the Leoric and Tychus can pressure out whatever warrior the other team has to pick. You know that they're going to pick a secondary warrior tank. So Arthas is locked in, has to be one. It has to be a tank. So let's take Leoric and Tychus and pressure that. Leoric, a great solo laner against the Arthas as well, because he can do that damage, you know, to the tank with his drain. So I guess that was a way more, should have been something I thought about much earlier in the draft, but you know, I like it. I like the Leoric. I like the Tychus. Have they over prioritized, you know, percentile damage though? That's the question.
Yes, we're going to have to wait and see, as we have some rather similar compositions coming out from both sides. They have a very beefy top lane with the Leoric versus the Arthas, and they're going to have a lot of staying power in these fights. And the double DPS, they do output a decent amount of damage. And we've got some very powerful supports on both sides, so it's going to be very much down to who plays better.
Indeed. Here we are. It's Battlefield Opportunity. We've loaded it. And for the last time this evening, it is the blue side, and it is Nekomimi. Last time we'll do the names. It's the last time you're going to hear them. It is ADS is playing on Hanzo. Free Quality has appeared as on Stukov. Christo on Muradin. Hashtag on Arthas. And Stumpgod is on Valor.
And on the red side, we have the QM Warriors. We have Tommy back on the Greymane. Ivilu is on the Malfurion. Mad Hax is on Tychus. Leica is on ETC. And Saralee is on the Leoric.
And it's lining up. Everyone has gone to their lanes for the initial statement of the game, and pretty much we're just looking at trying to win out the lanes here is what each team is trying to do. Arthas and Leoric seeing if they can put pressure onto each other. I think Leoric's going to have a bit of an easier time doing that. but Artis is definitely going to be able to hold his own for quite some time.
Yeah, and that's going to be a bit of a pain point for Nekomimi if they aren't going to be trying to influence that all that much. It could very well go in favor of the Leoric, and Hashtag could get bullied out time and time again. And it could, as I said, it could be a pain point for them going forward in this game.
We will see bottom lane right now, very neutral on both sides. Each team looking to get something happening. I think ETC is going to be our big playmaker here, however, if he gets an opportunity.
Yeah, he can do a lot of work with that ETC. We've been seeing it throughout this series, doing a lot of work with that crowd control. And with that damage that they're back with the Tychus and the Greymane, they can follow up on that pretty decently.
All right, so while we're just waiting for the action to go down, interesting look on talents. Hanzo is quite diverse in what he can take. Level 1 has actually taken simple geometry, which is obviously going into his multiple arrow build, his traded arrow build, where he can just deal so much mercenary damage, plus onto the boss as well.
Yeah, he'll be dealing a lot with the neutral objectives, and they are just going to be going for this camp at the bottom side. Clears that up pretty quickly thanks to that Greymane and Leica just being that anchor, just forcing away the members of Nekomimi, and just secures that camp for them early on in this game.
That's right, giving a little bit of pressure there. Christo has to back out on the Mirrodin. Instant one, level 1 talent, third win's actually been taken for him, so he can just sit on the back, self-regenerate for quite some time, and then get back quite easier. It's way faster than going back to base, Geo.
Yeah, and they are just going to be forced back just a little bit, as we are just going to be maintaining this for just a little bit until the first objective does end up coming up, the next first set of Immortals. And there it is. And now we have to wait and see how both teams are going to be playing around this. Do they just walk towards their medium camps, get those taken in preparation for this, so they have that point of pressure to work with? And if they are going to go for more of a defensive setup, or they're just going to try and burn as much as possible.
And it looks like what you've just talked about, Gio, both teams are doing it. Quick Match Warriors are a little bit in the lead. They did have their lanes cleared out a little bit sooner, which is going to allow them to, in theory, grab the Merc camp first. But the build Hanzo is gone. They're just going to be able to take those down in a stellar time. Hashtag being pressured, actually, a lot of damage here. Ooh. Can they finish it up? Sarah Lee is trying to. Can't fully connect there. A lot of pressure on the back line. Christo jumps on, trying to get the stun onto Leoric. Leoric backs away again, playing safe. Heavy defense here by the tide of Quick Match Warriors. Just basically caught in their rotation down to the Immortal. But that's going to give time for the blue team to get a little bit of value in the bottom lane with their mercenaries. Greymane's had to rotate down to deal with that. This is a big play potential right now. Stukot's dropped the silence. The stun's come out on Leoric. He's had to raid out. He's managed to survive. There is no, the arrow just a pinch.
That last scatter arrow was just a fraction of hitting that wall and could potentially have taken down that Leoric. Would have been massive for how this is going to play, but already a lot of damage has gone down onto the blue Immortal thanks to that defensive setup coming out from the Kieran Warriors. Cyril is back in. He's gonna be okay. He'll just get a few regrowths and he'll be alright, as it's gonna put a lot of pressure onto the blue side. As a nice start to this coming out for the Kieran Warriors, as they get a nice pick off.
Oh, that's beautiful. You know, Hanzo's in the top lane dealing with the mercenaries. Something that we saw Greymane on Quick Match Warriors do a little bit earlier. That's just given them, that gave Quick Match Warriors that chance to kill Valor. And that's going to really hurt in this. There's no way that they can race against this now, not with Valor gone. And the first Immortal is going to go to Quick Match Warriors. I mean, this is almost Infernal Shrines over again. The first big monster is going to Quick Match Warriors.
Yeah, and that's a reasonably sized shield, and it was a perfect time to get that kill onto the Valor, and because, as you mentioned, they just couldn't race it at that point. The Hanzo was, as you mentioned, stuck on the top side dealing with that mercenary camp, and wasn't there in time to help just demolish as much of that shield, and we saw just how much pressure Kieran Warriors are going to be able to get out of this. They grab the first tower, they're just going to keep on pushing through, and there's still quite a lot of health on that Immortal.
Oh, and the shield itself, and that's not health, but the shield is still doing its range volley into it, making it even harder for the team of Nekomimi to engage into. Nice there, play there. Tychus throwing a grenade, keeping the blue team back. Early fortification is gone now. And that Immortal is, still about 90% health, is it, GL?
Yeah, he can still keep on punching on. He very likely take down this front wall, and that's a very big advantage coming in for Kyoran Warriors as we do actually get a pause. We'll just have to wait and see what that's for. It's just a little bit of lag for some of the players on the side of Nekomimi. But yeah, as you were saying, very high HP left on the side of that Immortal. They should be able to grab these towers, and just looking at the experience, they're a decent way ahead, and they can just keep on applying the pressure.
Yes, they can. And look in the top lane, Leoric is they're split pushing behind this as well. This isn't just a 5-man Immortal push. Okay, nothing's happening in the top lane. No, there's actually another hero for the side of Quick Match Warriors in the top lane who is very quickly making short work of that fort. Once that falls, there's no way that Nekomimi can kind of like leave their base and feel safe.
Yeah, essentially once all those outer structures are down, that entire center of the map is dark and dangerous for the side of Nekomimi, and they have to be very careful with how they try and push out, especially now that they are down levels by a considerable margin, down talents, and if they get caught out with the crowd control from this Kyoran Warriors lineup, it could very well dispel the end very quickly.
The end is nigh for one of these teams tonight. Both teams are 1 point apiece in this best of 3. So it's whoever takes it out now. Nice rotation up to the top to get the fortification to secure it. I was looking at the thing, I wonder if Arthur's caught out here. But no, Hashtag does back out at the right time.
Yeah, they do manage to pick up that fort. There's not really much that could be done on the side of
they've gone in, actually! They've locked down. They've got a Leoric on the back foot. He should be able to escape fine, but I mean, anything can happen in these games, right?
Yeah, he did manage to get the Drain Hope onto that Mirrodin just before all that happened, so he was able to sustain himself quite well, and also that level advantage, it does help out a bit.
Hashtag is so out of position! He's gonna fall here, definitely Greymane getting connecting for the kill. It's a nice follow up here now. They are choosing not to chase Nova and clear with the pressure in the lane. The dedication, the discipline from Quick Match Warriors is so amazing.
Yeah, we've seen it throughout this day that they are okay with giving up camps. Well, I say that, but look at how that last game ended. But all that, just that one aside, they have been very patient and very measured with how they approach a lot of these situations. And they're okay giving up a little bit of ground, especially when they were so close to getting to level 10. They want to have this next fight with their heroics where they can really punish the side of Nekomimi. And Laika just moving forward with that mosh pit has to force, or is essentially going to be forcing away the members of Nekomimi.
Yep.
As we do.
Nice fight. This is a great situation again on the side of Quick Match.
Oh, wow.
Getting the Hanzo kill so early. Getting the Valor kill. Quickly follow up. Hey, let's get Hashtag as well for free. That's it. 3 kills right before an objective. Gee, Quick Match, you could not have choreographed that any better. It's I think we're gonna have to check bribery charges here, GL, because I think they've paid off. I think they paid off Nekomimi. That was so big. I can't explain what has transpired.
That was massive. It looked like Nekomimi were just a little bit stubborn there, wanting to go for their own camp and just grouped up and got caught out by all of that control and all of that damage coming out from the side of the Kyoran Warriors. Just having that heroic advantage was just a little bit too much, and with this advantage, they are able to clean up their camp immediately. They're able to push in on the bottom side of the map, clean up a lot of that, and throughout all of this, the Greymane was just blasting down that Immortal, taking down the first half, and they're in a great position right now to keep on just applying the pressure to Nekomimi.
Like ETC keeps saying, keep on rocking. That's the model of Quick Match Warriors right now with their pressure game rotating onto the Immortal now. They're going to easily take that down. There is no return play coming out from Nekomimi right now. Not even level 10. They just don't have any big guns to use, GL.
Yeah, especially when they don't even have level 10 yet. They need that to be even close to being competitive in some of these fights, and they just need a little bit more, and by that time, this Immortal is already going to be pushing into their base. Oh!
There
we go.
Like the party. Yeah.
Just gets cleaned up as A nice little party push there, and that's a lot of their damage onto this Immortal that's down the drain, and this is just going to allow us to push. I'm very sure that this is going to push down this keep. But they do actually have a nice Dragon's Arrow, but literally no follow-up.
It looks nice, but I mean, it's just slowed him down, right? That was just the break. The halftime break in between the savageness coming out of that. Quick Match Warriors. I mean, last game they obviously were not happy with how the last game turned out, and they're like, "Yeah, we gotta show you boys what we're really capable of." Just so much solid work going on right now. The Immortal again on such good life lead. Odin has been popped, however. The big plays are coming out. Damage is going down. The pressure on hashtag to keep him away from the action. The Immortal still does the work on Stukov. Uses his lurking arm on the Immortal, getting not much value. Really didn't kick to anyone else there. The Immortal now. Quick Match will back out, however, because this is the game that they play. They got what they wanted. They got to keep. No point throwing, let's not give them any chance to get back into this game.
Yeah, they're just going to pull back, get the advantage that they can, and just keep on applying pressure. It's so hard for for Nekomimi to get their way back into this. Just they try to make something happen, but they're trying to make something yet again happen onto this Leoric, but he can just Wraith Walk his way out of there and just completely negate that potential gain.
Yeah, this is... it feels to me that it's this, I guess the 2-lane map, right? So it's a bit harder, but I think we just keep seeing the same thing. They're rotating down.
What?
Oh, nice Dragon Arrow to prevent the follow-up. So while it was a nice arrow, it's really being used to stop people dying. You want to secure kills, not keep yourself safe. But hey, you'd rather people not die on your team. Just one thing I'm seeing. Sorry, I've got to cut you off again. I think Nekomimi's kind of got a bit of a playbook here, and they keep trying to get this kill on Leoric. I understand it, but I don't think they're going to be able to secure a kill, no matter what they do on Leoric, unless they're really out of position. Oh my God, Murden! I'm thinking about out of position. Murden's just had to pop Avatar and jump over the wall. The Immortals are spawning. That Heroic is out for this Immortal phase. Big. That is massive.
That is one massive tool that they won't be able to use, and also we had the Army of the Dead popped as well, so I believe. So that is 2 massive heroics on the side of Nekomimi that they will not be able to use for any potential upcoming fight, and they'll need to be able to fight for this next Immortal, because at this moment they don't really have the tools to continuously defend. Eventually, if they just keep on having Immortals just rushing into their base, they're going to get overrun.
Eventually, there's going to be no structures for the Immortal attack, just a nice big core. Teams posturing now around the blue Immortal. Quick Match knows that they can probably win the game from this if they do manage to take it. And we see on the side of Nekomimi playing so cautiously. Lurking Arm goes down. Not getting really any value, more zoning control, pushing them out. But the blue Immortal is falling rapidly, as there is no one on the blue side really poking them off.
Yeah, it looks like Nekomimi are trying to get to level 13 so they can have that talent coming into this next fight, but the wave is just not enough for them to get there, and they're just going to have to try and get experience elsewhere. It's just not working out for them right now. The cards are just not falling into place.
There's a nice little play happening at the moment where the mercenaries are in the bottom lane, causing Tommy to split off, giving blue team, giving Nekomimi advantage for a little bit. But the level difference is, I think it's not enough to really get a big play here. Murden's popped Avatar, but he's on such low health, has been rooted into the ground. There was Leoric pressuring onto him. Leo, the coal's been gone. They're going in. It's been popped. They've managed to get Leoric, one of the few times in this game, finally scoring a kill on their side. But big mosh pit goes down, but the swipe comes in, pushing it all the way. Odin has been popped from Madhack. Madhack's desperately trying to get a kill onto someone, connect onto, but Murden's just sitting there, pushing him back. Lovely silence there by Stukov, pushing the side of Quick Match Warriors out. Can they race this in time? They're in a good position, but the red team, Quick Match, rapidly redescends on their location. What can the Nekomimi do in this spot? All they can do is retreat and try again later.
And the Leoric is back now, and they managed to get the lockdown onto the Stukov. A great entomb locks them down. That's going to be the first kill. The second kill goes down as well, and it looked great at the start, but on the turnaround, it didn't really affect them all that much, the Kieran Warriors, because it was just the Leoric. All those tools were used to take down the Leoric, and as I was saying earlier, he's okay to die here or there, and it's not going to really affect the team all that negatively.
A nice pickup on Hanzo there by Quick Match Warriors, just putting this game even more down in the victory lane for them. Mortal's been popped. It's got a huge amount of shields, GL. I'm really feeling for the side of Nekomimi now. They've got to contend with the Immortal and Catapults raining destruction down in their core momentarily.
Yeah, it's going to be very hard for them to deal with the Hanzo going to be a little bit late to the defense because he was picked off towards the end of that fight. Again, this is more than likely going to be this keep going down. How this defense goes will really determine if this game is just going to end or not.
That's it. Hashtag getting picked off. Once this structure falls, there's not much left standing in the way between that Immortal and the core. Just a couple of minions and the valiant efforts of 5 Nekomimi warriors. Can they do something? Ooh. I don't know. Pressured on ADS, forcing them back away behind the core, going back in, trying to connect. Christo's in a lot of trouble there. Nice massive swipe comes out, but it's just delaying the inevitable. The damage now being done on the core. It's dropped to 70%. It's going down now, GL. Top 50%, 40. 25, it's dropping so fast. There's nothing they can do. Quick Match Warriors are tonight's victors in this best of 3 series. And what a series it was. Not to say that any moments were dominating GL, but Quick Match are definitely in control of these games for the majority of the time.
Absolutely. We saw it even in their loss in game 2. They were in control for a lot of it. It was just a few mistakes towards the late game where those late games mistakes do end up punishing you quite heavily. But yeah, they control incredibly well around the map, and those fights just consistently going in their favor. Sure, there was some pickoffs here and there in rotation, but each and every time they were able to reassess the situation, recompose themselves, and just come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, and it was basically a flawless match. You saw so many times on the side of for the side of Nekomimi that they were just making a little bit of desperation plays, you know, ultimates being used at wrong timings, people caught out of position, just not being able to secure kills on high value targets, but very very hard to kill high value targets as well. And it's just the game. It's just a you know, in the words of Winters, the man, one of our other casters, it was a bit of a clinic on how to dismantle a team on Battlefield of Eternity.
Absolutely, and there's really not much more you can really say about that. The compositions were reasonably okay. I mean, if it was going in rather even towards the mid to late game, I felt as though Nekomimi could have had a reasonable chance. They had a decent amount of racing potential when it came to the Immortals. It's just that they were never in a position to get that damage down. Each and every time, even at the very first one, after that first phase, the Valor got picked off. They were never able to use their racing potential, and from there, it was just they were on the back foot for the entire game.
And you could see that. You could see it in the levels. You know, they just didn't catch up. The game time, you know, it's a 15 minutes, 30-second game, so it was just a very, very dominating set. But look, thank you everyone for sticking around and enjoying that a massive series tonight. We had 2 best of 3s, and they all went to full games. If you did miss out on it, our first game of the night was Rich Gang versus Downfall. Rich Gang taking the series out 2-1, very close, very nail biter. And then you just witnessed Nekomimi versus Quick Match Warriors again, another 2-1 victory. Quick Match Warriors definitely showing a high level of class in this game, but Nekomimi, you know, if you disrespect them, they'll bite you, and you know, just look at their name for that.
Exactly, they show a lot of strength, a lot of potential. It's just a matter of shoring up a lot of those weaknesses and trying to diversify some of their playbooks, because we saw time and time again they were just banging on the same play, even when it was not really close to be working. So just trying to shore up some of those deficiencies. I mean, it's a long season. There's a lot of work to do for some of these teams, and I'm very excited to see how it pans out for the rest of the season.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're very excited to see how it pans out, GL, because we've got several weeks of massive competition. If you've enjoyed the games tonight and you want to come back and watch some more, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. AEDT. If you're someone from out of Australia and New Zealand and you're not sure on that time zone, that's the Australian New Zealand time zone. So don't forget to tune in, guys. It's been a massive week. Thank you all very much for your dedication of watching out. And we will see you guys next time on the HGC ANZ Premier League.